Feels weird to say that it's my favorite, but it's when we covered the Panhandle Wildfires last year. That one was really cool just because, I mean, it was a very heartbreaking situation, but it was really cool to be like, oh, I'm being a part of like writing history for people.
Hey everybody, thank you again for tuning in to the Kick Your Roots Up podcast. You guys, this is season 3 of the podcast. It has been a long time coming. I know I personally have learned so much from you guys, our loyal listeners. The best thing that I've learned from season 1 and season 2 has been how kind you guys are. I felt like when I was doing some teaser stuff preparing for season 3, you guys just reached out with the kindest words, the best advice that I truly appreciate. So keep it coming. I'm never going to be offended if you send me a DM or write a comment. That's good or bad. I want to hear it all. So thank you again. And speaking of a big thank you, I've got to give a shout out to our top 3 states that are the most listened to. So Texas is number 1. It's a given. We're here in Fort Worth. But I really challenge the other states because I feel like Texas has like a big target on its back. So I don't know about you guys, but step it up. Maybe we can kick Texas out at number 1. And then Virginia and Washington. Thank you guys so much. I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it. Keep sharing it with your friends. And if you're not in the top 3 states, this is officially a challenge. I challenge you to like, subscribe, share this with at least 3 friends today. Let's get your state mentioned in the next episode. I would so appreciate it. And I can't say thank you enough. So without further ado, we're going to get started for our first episode of season 3, and we're starting it off with a bang. This is one of my good friends. We go back about 5 years, but it feels like with social media, when we've been able to keep in touch and get to know each other even better over the years. I have so many things that I'm going to introduce this lady to you guys with, but I think I'm going to lead with my favorite fun fact about Shelby. Shelby is a dog mom to a golden retriever named Boots that is honestly equally as cool as her. Like if she was a dog, it would be Boots. Like I just love keeping up with their adventures and everything that they do. So ladies and gentlemen, this is Shelby Shank. She's the field reporter for the Texas Farm Bureau, and I'm so excited to have you here on the podcast.
Awesome. Thank you. That was a really sweet intro. Boots also has his own Instagram. It's at Boots_Scoot and Boogie.
That's right. I forgot.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm his like personal manager. But yeah,
honestly, it's about time that they start earning their money and paying for rent.
I know he really does need to, especially with like recent events. I've had to like take him to the vet. He has really bad allergies.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's fun to navigate. Yeah.
I hate that for you, but I can't wait to hear more stories about it because one of my friends has a golden retriever that has to go to the vet a lot, and it's like a traumatic experience. And you should probably form a support group for other golden retriever moms.
I probably should.
No, but something that's really cool about you, and I'm so thankful that I was able to catch you here in Fort Worth this week, is by the time this podcast is out, Shelby will have been inducted into Cowgirl Magazine's 30 Under 30, the class of 2025. Huge accomplishment. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. That is so fun. I know about a year ago this time you were talking about it. Like, what can I do? What's going on? And I'm so happy to see you here. What do you think this weekend is going to what do you think is going to happen this weekend? What do you think you're going to do?
I think this weekend I'm just really excited to get to know everyone.
Mm-hmm.
This is such a like big life accomplishment for me and a very like answered prayer.
Yeah.
So just really excited to be a part of it, get to see everyone, get to know everyone, and just learn from the women around me, and then to further God's kingdom and just really bring awareness to the Western way of life and to agriculture. And yeah.
And it honestly, this feels, whenever we sit here and talk about it, it feels like 2 girls being fake about like spending time with other girls or whatever. But like genuinely, it's one night, or the gala is at least one night, but this year it's like a whole weekend situation. But you just are fulfilled with women that are running towards the same goals as yours, and it's not competition. They're not there to be ugly to each other. It's literally honestly like a positive pink bubble or something. Like shout out to Cowgirl Magazine for doing it, because there's only 30 every year, and it only started in like 2020, so 30 times 5, like there's only that many women. And so it's really cool. So I'm very proud of you in that sense. I know it's going to be the best weekend. It's going to be exhausting. So my best advice, I guess, is like drink all the coffee, drink all the things. Espresso martinis. There we go. You get a little coffee, a little alcohol, whatever.
A good tip.
Okay, but the question, Shelby, that I have like wanted to ask you, and shame on me for not sending you a voice text or like texting you about it, but I'm so glad that we got to save it for the podcast because about a year ago, my coworker, who is very in tune with like pop culture and what Gen Z is doing, she was teaching me a new language that Gen Z is speaking. And I was like, this is the craziest thing I've ever heard. But then I used it in real life at the swimming pool at my apartment. And these kids that definitely know like what some of the like skibbity toilet and stuff, they were like, what? She's old and she knows that? Okay, but you're the first person that is from Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio, you guys. You're the first person that is from Ohio that I've been able to talk to because there's a phrase that Gen Z is saying now. And it's like, ew, that's so Ohio. So what is your thoughts about that? How does that make you feel being from Ohio?
I'm honestly like a little indifferent on it.
Okay.
I'm really grateful that I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio. I grew up on the outskirts of it, so not in the city. I was more in like a suburban kind of area. So that's kind of like where my ag tie comes in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really indifferent to it. I'm grateful to be from there. There's things back home that like I still hold true to myself, like Skyline Chili, which is where we put chili on spaghetti noodles. A lot of people think that's gross, but hey, when you grew up with it, like it's good.
Okay, hang on. I grew up calling it chili three-way.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Oklahoma and Ohio are the same? What?
Okay, this makes me happy because my coworkers, they give me such a hard time about it.
Skyline Chili. Okay, that's interesting.
But yeah, so grateful for Ohio, but really grateful to be living in Texas. I don't foresee myself moving to Ohio again. I very much,
Ohio.
yes, I very much claim Texas as home.
Wow. And I'm selfishly glad you're here, being from Oklahoma, transplant as well in Texas. We just discovered when I was booking you for the show that you're actually in Waco, which I don't know why I was thinking you were further. So shame on us for not actually hanging out more than we do. But there's people in Fort Worth that I don't even see. So shame on us.
Hey,
but
that's
anyways,
okay.
I'm so glad that we started it off talking about this because tell us a little bit more about how you grew up, what it was like. Especially because you were in rural America, but you still had some inner city, I think school. Did you go to school in the city? Okay. So talk about that.
Yeah. So, originally from Cincinnati, Ohio, didn't really grow up in agriculture. And I always tell people this, that I got started in agriculture because I wanted a pet pig. Yes. But it also goes a step further than that I don't really tell my mom, but now she like knows it and it's funny. But there was a cute boy in 4-H who showed pigs, and I of course wanted to show pigs too and be around this cute boy. But so I started showing pigs in high school, got really involved in the program. If 4-H was attached to it, like I was involved in it and really got my start in agriculture from there, really grew a passion for it. Knew that I wanted to study something in agriculture, just wasn't sure what that was. And then God placed me in a small town of Murray, Kentucky, which is about 6 hours from Ohio.
Wow.
So I went to Murray State University for undergrad, studied animal science, but took more of like a marketing and communications kind of role, or not really role, but path through that. And so really grateful for the people that I met in Murray. I worked at our university hog farm, managed our Facebook page with them, our sale pages, met some really awesome mentors there, Matt and Alex Schultz. They're really sweet individuals, love their family. And then all throughout college, I just really gave myself a goal that I was going to do an internship every summer, and God willing that I was able to make that happen. I took all the internships, met all the people, and that just wound me up going to Texas Tech University for grad school, where I got my master's in agricultural communications.
It's the Raiders, right?
Yes, okay. The Red Raiders. Yep.
The Red Raiders. This is the only time is it one?
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is the only time you'll see me do this.
So yeah, I was in Lubbock for about 18 months for my master's. Loved living out there. If I could move anywhere, I'd probably move back to Lubbock. West Texas is very partial to my heart. Aww. And then as I was finishing up my thesis, I was like, man, I really want to make sure I have a job like after I graduate. Like that was just my goal all throughout school, is like, I'm going to have a job after I graduate. And so I took like a little break from working on my thesis and started job hunting. Wasn't really sure like what I wanted to do, but like whenever people would ask like, hey, what do you want to do after graduation? And I would always say, I want to be the voice of agriculture and I want to share people's stories, whether that's like with an ag organization, a farm bureau or something like that. Like that's something that I want to do.
Wow.
And so when I saw the field editor position open at Texas Farm Bureau, read through it, it was like lots of writing, some social media, photography, traveling across the state. I was like, is this real? Like this is literally my dream job.
Check. Like all the boxes are checking. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
And so I applied. My first interview with my current boss, this is like my number one God moment. I love to share it with people because it was like very clear that he wanted me to be in Waco and in this position. But I remember our first phone call, we were able to identify 3 different individuals that we each had connections to in different areas of our life. And that was really sweet for me. So the first one was one of my professors at Murray was one of her professors at Tarleton. And then one summer I did an internship at Indiana Farm Bureau and I worked with her sister-in-law. And then I was doing some work with Cultivate Agency and she knew them with like some of her previous work and like being involved with the cattle industry. And I was like, that's so crazy that like we're able to identify all of these people in different areas of our life. And so that was just like a really sweet moment to be like, okay, I'm meant to be here.
That is so cool. And I'm so glad you brought faith into it because you guys know I love to talk about that on the podcast, but I always wait for the guests to do it first. Mm-hmm. But one thing I have to say about Shelby is before, when the cameras were off, she was like, hey, do you mind if we pray over this podcast? And truly, like when that happens, peace just comes into the room, and it came into this interview. But then over your time and your story, I can tell that you were prayerfully making steps, which means that it was like another door opened, or at least a crack, it was like opening up even more. And that's so cool. And I think that's a big part of my story too. Like I can relate to you with that, is like at one point in time, especially in college, I was like super like lost, probably wanting to go a little bit off the beaten path and like questioning a lot of things in life, right? And that's actually one of the turning points was when we did our internship together at the Cowboy channel, because I remember being like, okay, the only way that I would survive in this environment, fast paced, stressful, is like let go, let God. And from that moment, I feel like every year it's been like I felt his presence more. Like I don't even know how to explain it, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So let's go back a little bit to the internship at the Cowboy channel. It was a crazy time.
Yes.
Did you think it was worth it getting to where you are now? Talk about that, because I know like there's a lot of listeners that are about to start applying for internships or like hoping to get one for the summer. Ours was like super unique because it was like NFR centric, but talk about it.
Yes, our internship with Cowboy Channel is very unique. It was during the 2020 NFR when it was in Fort Worth, and then I was able to come back for the American.
Yes,
and that was really sweet. I honestly applied on a whim. I saw someone post that they were accepting applications for internships, and I was like, oh, I think I could do this. Like at that point, most of my classes were online, so I was like, yeah, I can like spend 2 weeks in Fort Worth. And
that was a positive about COVID, by the way. Like there's lots of negative things, obviously lots of hurt, but a positive that we chose to see as positive is like classes are online now. Let's go.
Yes, so it was definitely worth it. I'm trying to remember like everything that we did, but I just remember,
it was a blur.
I just remember like feeling so grateful for the people that I met during that internship, and just like how God intentionally placed them into my life, and that I'm able to like still connect with them today. Like I'm able to connect with you, Megan, Rebel. Like that's just so fun and like so sweet that like I was able to make these connections. And I mean, look at where we are today.
Yeah.
So
no, for
all
real.
because of that.
It's huge. And I'll never forget my roommate and I at the time I think this was during the American, I guess. I don't even, during the American. Our like pipes had burst.
Yes.
And I really got to know you when I stayed. I was like, Megan, I'm coming to crash in your hotel room. I need to take a shower, all the things. And you and Megan had shared a room or whatever. And so I was like, okay, cool. And that was like a good opportunity to like really get to know you and stuff. And it's just so fun. I love talking about the past because not only are we in the time like before our 30s, I feel like our 20s are for like figuring life out. And it's been so fun to figure out life alongside you and the other girls as well. We'll have to get together sometime.
We will.
Hopefully this weekend is a thing, but if not, I know that like Megan's here a lot, Rebel's here a lot. Maybe we can like figure it out with all of our busy schedules. That's something we need to talk about too before we get to know you a little bit deeper, because I remember being like younger 20s and being like, how are you supposed to hang out and make time for everyone in college when you're all right there in the same town, let alone now when we're adults, we all do things. So talk about like your life back home and how you balance like friends and work and personal time, and you love fashion. So like fashion and shopping, just talk about your time management, balance, all that stuff. The fun stuff.
I feel like I'm not really good at time management, but maybe I am. I don't know.
It looks like you are, so it's all good, right?
I'm just really grateful for the place that I'm in now. I mentioned earlier that like if I could move anywhere, it would be Lubbock, Texas. Waco, Texas is a very interesting town.
Okay, talk about it.
I don't really know how to describe it other than saying that like it's a popcorn town. So if anyone from Waco is listening to this, I'm so sorry if you love Waco. Yeah. But like, so I'm on my street. If I turn left, I see like $500,000 homes. Wow. If I turn right, I go to a sketchy H-E-B that I'm never going to go to. I will travel 20 minutes to a different H-E-B and get my groceries there. Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah. So Waco's very interesting, but I'm really grateful for the community that I've built there. When I moved to Waco, I was like, okay, this is where I'm going to settle down and like plant some roots and things like that. So I wanted to get plugged into a really awesome church, and thankfully found myself at Harris Creek. Yes, I'm at Harris Creek. So if you know anything about Harris Creek, our pastor is JP. We have a podcast called Becoming Something. Their conference is this weekend, so I'm really bummed to miss it, but I know my friends are going to send me some updates. So really grateful for that church and just how it has like transformed my faith. My community there is just like everything to me of living in Waco. So really involved in the church. I guess that's how I like hang out with people.
Yeah.
Funny story, when I went to the dentist, my dental hygienist noticed that I was reading, like I had a book in my purse, and she's like, do you want to join my book club? And I was like, yes, I love to read and I want to make more friends. So now I'm in like a book club with my dental hygienist and her friends, and we're going to celebrate her 30th birthday coming up. So that's really fun.
You had a great dentist experience.
Yes.
Then. Man, we should all try that.
Yep. I love going there. And then I'm just really blessed to have friends like all throughout the country from college and just various internships, and just staying connected with them through social media. There's girls from college that I Snapchat every day, and like still feel like I'm really connected to them. I don't know if that really answered your time management question, but
no, it did, because you showed us like the ins and outs of like, and making friends is a good point that you touched on, because it's incredibly hard to make friends, especially after college.
Yeah.
It was a little bit easier in college. You had classes together. You were forced to be with people based on like organizations or whatever. But like now it's like, oh, I went to the dentist, and that is a highlight.
Yes.
Like literally people do not understand how hard it is, especially nowadays with like phones and dating apps and all that stuff. I was on the dating scene like right when Bumble was a thing. So I was like, I like Bumble at least because I have the power to say yes or no or whatever.
See, I don't like that.
Oh, really? Yeah. You want them to pursue you?
Yes.
Okay. So let's talk about that then. Are you single right now? Are you dating?
Yes, I'm single. I currently have my Hinge on pause though, because dating in Waco is not it, y'all. Like it's just weird. So I'm single, don't know what to do about it, but here we are.
You know what? We have to talk about what your boss said. Yes. What did she say?
So before I came up to Fort Worth for like this week and everything that it entails, she was like, can you set your Hinge to like Fort Worth this weekend? Like maybe you'll meet someone. I was like, Julie, I already have it like at 100-mile radius. I'm getting people from Austin and Fort Worth. I was like, it's not happening. So if I meet someone, great. If not, that's okay too.
Maybe you can get a boyfriend out of this podcast.
Yeah.
that might be the new thing. Like forget dating apps. Let's just go on podcasts and introduce people, right? Next time you're in town, I promise I'll have like eligible bachelors lined up.
Okay.
We'll plan better. No, I love that though, because it's so hard to make friends, but then also like dating and then like dealing with the virtual apps, and like my heart goes out to you. And there's a lot of this sounds sad, girls, if you're listening, this isn't what I mean, but like there's a lot of girls on our team that are single, and like hearing them, like they'll be so excited for a date and then he'll stand them up, or like they'll go on a date, but then they're either like stage 5 clinger or like questionable murderer. You know, there's really no like,
it's so weird.
There's diamonds in the rough. And one of my older coworkers right now actually is stoked because she found someone on an app, and I'm like, okay, so maybe it's not for our 20s, you know, maybe it is for later on in life. We'll see. But that's kind of like so hard to maneuver. So I hate that for you, but luckily,
it's okay.
You're in Fort Worth this weekend,
Yes.
and there's lots of opportunity there, and it's all going to be good. It's all going to work out. And your mom is coming this weekend.
Yes, she's flying in from Ohio tomorrow. I feel bad she has to Uber from the airport to the hotel, but hey, have a busy week, but I'm so grateful that she's going to be here in town for it. And then she will be here for a week afterwards and stuff like that. So
Good. Okay.
I still get to spend some intentional time with her.
And the drive back to Waco, plus like getting to see you in your normal life. That's good too. And you and your mom have a cool relationship. I think that's so rare. I mean, it depends, probably 50-50. Depending on like the situation. But talk to us a little bit about how cool it is to have a mom that is so invested in your life. You're probably like, she's a lot sometimes, but like different perspective is cool too. So
my mom is a saint, and she's gonna giggle so hard when she like listens to this and realizes that I'm talking about her on a podcast. No, she's so sweet. I honestly called her maybe like a couple weeks ago, just after having some conversations with friends and them talking about their relationship with their mom. Like my heart honestly kind of broke for them. And so I called my mom. I was like, Mom, I'm so grateful to have such a good relationship with you. Like listening to other people's stories of like their relationships. Like I'm so thankful that ours is not like that. And I don't know if there's anything to attribute to how close we are, but it's just really sweet that she's someone I can tell anything to. She's my biggest supporter. She sent me a photo of a card that her coworker sent her, addressed to like the both of us, saying like, Shelby, we're so excited for you. Congratulations. We're so excited that you get to spend this time with your mom. And they're like, your mom just glows when she talks about you. And I was like, that's so sweet. So yeah, I'm just really grateful for my relationship with her. She's my best friend, and I love like sharing everything with her.
that is so cool. And I truly do love that. And I can feel like the passion too. Like that's so cool to see. And it's going to be kind of hard this weekend, like balancing like mom time, friend time. Granted, I know you have the next week with your mom or whatever, but what do you think is going to be like the most sentimental moment about the weekend? Like, do you think it's going to be, you get to give a speech, right? Okay, so do you think it's going to be that, or do you think it's going to be like in the small moments?
Okay, this might sound really silly, and I hope it doesn't sound like superficial or anything or materialistic.
It's a safe place here. Nobody will judge.
But I'm really excited to get the 30 under 30 cuff. I've seen women before me like have it, they wear it to like various events and things like that, or they wear it every day. And I'm just so excited to be a part of that and to also wear the cuff and of course show it off in a non-bragging way,
but also like this is the weekend to brag about it. Like they're all gonna have one. So
just really grateful for that. This is kind of a fun story that I haven't really like shared with anyone. But you know, I applied last year. I didn't get it, which is fine. But they gave me the opportunity to purchase tickets and go to the gala last year. And I was like, of course I'm going to take that, like make some connections while I can. And so I kept my ticket from that and I put it at my desk. I have one of those little like organizers where you put like pens and notebooks and things like that. And I just put my ticket there, and I wasn't going to like forget to apply again, but I was like, this is going to be a sweet reminder that like, this is a goal that I'm working towards. And so then I applied, and I shouldn't have used my work email because they like filter our emails of like what comes through and what doesn't. And so I didn't know I got it until Megan actually messaged me and she said, congratulations, you got it. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she sent me the article and I saw my face and I was like, oh my gosh, I got 30 under 30. Like, that's so awesome. So yeah, little sweet story that I kept my ticket at my desk. It's still there. Little sweet memento.
And I honestly love that. That's the most Shelby thing, the most Taylor thing too, because you're like kind of out of sight, out of mind. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, what happened? I had to go back to my emails and be like, oh, there it is. I did get it.
It's not junk. It's not a fish. Yeah, it's so funny. And that is a sweet little story too, because it made it the moment with Megan special too. Like you have that memory with Megan forever.
Yeah.
That's so cool. No, I love that. That's like super cool. Okay, so on a more personal level, I don't know how we can get more personal than your dating life, but one thing that I'm really interested in and like love hearing girls talk about on other podcasts is like their favorite things that they've loved lately, or like specifically like skincare or makeup. So tell us about some of the things that you like will not leave the house without, or like you swear by right now, whatever.
Okay. I recently discovered this. I know that Charlotte Tilbury has like been talked about, the Pillow Talk lipstick.
Yes.
Well, I got that shade, love it. But then I noticed that they have a fair one, like for fair skin people, and I'm fair skin. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try this. I put it on and y'all, it's literally the best color ever. I'm really picky about lipsticks of them being like too orangey when I'm kind of going for like a mauve pink and whatnot. And that's what Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Fair gives me. So I love that. That's one of my current favorites. I wish I was
wearing it right now.
No, this is just a regular Pillow Talk one. So it looks good, but Pillow Talk Fair, I love that one. What else am I loving? I'm currently doing the She Reads Truth Lent study, and this is my first study doing, or like first She Reads Truth study that I'm doing.
What a perfect one.
Yeah, and I'm really enjoying it. I have to confess, I haven't really like been keeping up with it lately, just with everything going on. But
you're a little busy.
I really do love their studies. And then I told you earlier, I'm kind of in my podcast era.
Yes.
Really enjoy like putting my headphones on during work and just listening to a podcast. So of course I have to shout out Becoming Something. Love their podcast.
They really do. Sorry, really quick. They really do cover a wide variety of things. I remember even like the seasons of not knowing what your career is going to be, not knowing who your partner is, everything. Like, yeah, love it. Good podcast.
So theirs is really good. Whoa, That's Good with Sadie Robertson.
Heck yes.
Love that one. And then of course, love listening to this podcast and all the guests that you have on.
This is going to be your favorite episode.
Yes. I hope it's the most viewed. No, I'm kidding.
Yes. Yeah, me too.
And then another shout out to Leaders of the West. Love that one. And just learning from people
Jarvis
in the Western agricultural industries.
Yeah, that's a wide variety. We got a little self-help. We got a little ag, little in between. No, those are so good. I recently, if you are a podcast girly, I recently discovered The Skinny Confidential.
Okay, Have you heard about that one?
Okay,
yeah.
It's kind of different. It's not really ag based, but I kind of like it because they kind of shoot you straight on like health and beauty, and they get to interview. It's a husband and wife couple, so they get to interview like a very wide variety of like, some are businessmen that started businesses, and women too. So it's like very business, or like sometimes it's an influencer that has a beauty product and you're like, wait, I never knew the science behind the fair, fair makeup or whatever. Yeah. So that one's my favorite.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
I love that. Yes. And then I remember your dentist story you like to read. So are you reading anything other than the Lent series?
Okay. Right now, I love, I'm going to butcher her name, but it's Abby Jimenez.
Okay.
She's wrote, Just for the Summer, A Part of Your World, Yours Truly. She's probably one of my current like favorite authors right now, and she just came out with a book either this week or last week called Say You'll Remember, and it's about like a veterinarian, and I can't remember what the other character does, but love reading that right now. She's so good. If you love rom-coms like I do.
I was gonna say, would that be your favorite genre?
I love rom-coms.
Okay. Yeah. I really, my coworkers they taught me a term, smut books. I was never really into smut, but there was one book that I read like probably last summer, like at the pool and stuff. And I was like, okay, I see why people love like rom-com or like anything other than self-help, because really I just read self-help all the time. But it is fun to escape a little bit.
Yes, it is. It is.
And speaking of stepping away and like escaping, you travel a lot for work. So tell us about what it's like give us a day in the life of a field reporter at Texas Farm Bureau, because that is, your job is so intriguing. Yeah. You don't have the same day every day.
No. So I guess I never really explained what I actually do to your listeners.
What do you do, Shelby?
I honestly am so lucky to have a very niche job, because when you say field editor, they're like, what's that? And I often get confused with our field representatives. But I'm the editor, but I basically...
You don't sell it.
Yeah. I basically go around the state of Texas and interview farmers and ranchers and just get to share their stories in agriculture, which is so fun. So I'm taking their photos. I tag team with our video team. We do interviews. And so really grateful to have the team that I travel with.
Yeah.
They do amazing work. Love the videos that they produce. And then I get to write the article that goes along with it. And then I also get to travel to other places. So at the end of the month, I'm going to DC with some of our members.
Wow.
And they're going to advocate at the Capitol for agriculture, of course. And so I'll be there following them around. So if you see me following people in cowboy hats, I'm there.
You're like, that's me.
Yeah.
One thing that I noticed, you actually publish a lot of articles online. And so I can't help but ask, like, how does it feel to be published or to say like, oh, I'm a published writer?
It's honestly so surreal. So when I was in grad school, I said that I wanted to like publish journal articles, and like that's when I would be like, I made it or whatnot.
Okay.
Well, I think it was maybe earlier this year or last year that my thesis actually did get published in a journal article. Wow. And I was like, oh, this is just like another published thing, because at that point, like I'd been at Farm Bureau for 2 years, and my pictures have been the cover of Texas Agriculture, which is like our monthly publication.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, I've already done this before. But it's still like a really surreal moment when you see like a photo that you've taken on the cover of this paper that is going out to a lot of people.
Does your mom get a copy? That's the most important question.
No, I don't think she does. I don't think she does.
Well,
even though she lives in Ohio, I should make her get a Farm Bureau membership in Texas.
You really should. I'm sure she would be like stoked every month getting a magazine or whatever. Is it actually not monthly? It's bi-monthly?
This one is monthly. Okay. And then we have another one called Texas Neighbors that is digital, and it goes out every quarter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So you really are constantly with content.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So one question I've asked, we're interviewing right now for interns and stuff. Mm-hmm. One thing I've asked them is like, how do you get over like writer's block or creative block or whatever? So I'll ask you that then too, since you're constantly pumping out the stuff.
I wish I had an answer for you, and I don't have one. On a normal week when like I'm in the office, I probably do maybe like 5 to 6 articles a week. Most of them are just like really short, or like I'm repackaging one. Yeah. Not necessarily like blog type. I don't really know how you would describe it. This is a weird random fact too, and I don't know if I should brag about it.
Definitely you should.
I did not take a single journalism class in school.
That's a fun fact.
I did not take a single journalism class. So honestly, where I am today, it's all because of God. Like, yeah.
Wow.
I don't know what you really call it. It's just maybe like it's more like a news style. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. News article type. Yeah.
But they get published in like our daily newsletter that goes out to emails called Texas Ag Daily. So yeah, I probably do about like 5 to 6 of those a week. And then we try to shoot for like one big story, like a feature story once a month. Mm-hmm. Right now we're kind of like in this weird lull of waiting for people to respond back to us so that we can, go, like possibly going to El Paso. Another one I think will be in East Texas. And then I can't remember where some of the other ones are, but we're just in this like weird waiting period to get some stories done.
Well, okay, if you do get to go to El Paso, if it works out, we have a factory there and like stores and stuff. So I don't know if you'll have any free time, but you'll have to like stop in and see what it's like there, another branch of us. But I love that you mentioned like going, and that was a big part of the answer we talked about before of like getting to travel and do all the things. Mm-hmm. So Juan actually asked you this off camera, not knowing that we were prepared to talk about it. So I was like, nope, don't answer. So I'm gonna ask you now. Now that we're on camera, everyone can hear you and hear your story. What has been like the craziest scenario that has come out of being in the field, asking the farmers things? Was it a crazy location, a crazy story, a crazy person?
I feel like that's such a hard question to like answer. And I was thinking about that on the drive up here, because people always ask like, what's your favorite story that you've done and whatnot? Yeah. And like, they're all really good stories for like little bits of themselves. Like whether it's, I felt like I got really good content when I was there, or this person interviewed really well, or I just really enjoyed the memories with my coworkers while we were on that shoot. And so it's really hard to like pick which ones are my favorite, but there's a couple that stand out to me. And this one like feels weird to say that it's my favorite, but it's when we covered the Panhandle wildfires last year. That one was really cool just because, I mean, it was a very heartbreaking situation, but it was really cool to be like, oh, I'm being a part of like writing history for people.
Communicating that to the world.
Yeah. So that was like really cool just to like be a part of that, I guess. Still very heartbreaking, but a good story. And then another one, we did Poteet strawberries. So Poteet is very known for their strawberries. They have like a strawberry festival every year. And it was around that time when we did that shoot, the Wes Anderson Trend. And my coworkers are like big movie nerds. And so they were like, yes, we need to do that. And I feel like that's maybe one of our like most viewed like reels and TikToks is the Wes Anderson Trend, like with the strawberry farmers. And it's like, it's a really good video. I love it. we got so American Farm Bureau does like a communications conference for all the state farm bureaus to come together. And we submitted that video and got like best social media video. And so that was really fun.
Heck yes, you did. Well, I think I've got to go back to the story with the West Texas fires, because I totally see why that was your favorite, only because the lens that I'm looking at it as, like, seeing the stories that you wrote and seeing Facebook posts and all the articles that were out there. Everyone band together, and like people from Oklahoma, I'm sure people from Ohio, everyone came to bring cattle feed, hay, necessities, water, Gatorade, or donated money to someone that would like get it for them. And so I totally see why that was such an impactful story, even though it was sad. And that kind of is the reason why stories like that are kind of the reasons why I didn't want to go in the news reporting direction. Yeah. Because I don't actually think I've shared this with our audience either, but like I wanted to be a news reporter, a news broadcaster. And then in college, they sent me out on a few assignments, and I realized very quickly that I could not go up to a woman who just lost her son and say, how does that make you feel? You know, and so situations like that, I commend you for having the like right headspace and the right approach. And that is just like hats off to you as a reporter. I'm like, yes, girl, I will continue to like follow and love and live vicariously through you, because I could not do half the things that you do. Yeah. And then write about it too. Yeah. You know?
Thankfully, those aren't like a lot of our stories. Most of them are just feature stories of
positive times.
Yeah. Like we did one on a sunflower farmer, and it's just like, so like, how did you start growing sunflowers? How do they grow? Tell me more about this crop and things like that. And then always the question of like, well, why do you keep doing it? And it's so sweet when like God inserts himself like in those moments of, you get to see like other people's faith shine through.
Oh, for sure. And then that makes you even more apt to like be the vessel to share too. Yeah. It's like little God winks. Like when you have someone that wants to pray over the podcast before coming in, you know, it's like one of those things that's like, yes, I feel fulfilled or whatever. Yeah. After all of that. I think what's something that's unique about you is you have such a serious job, and it's fun. Feature stories are fun, you know, but like pretty serious as a field reporter. But then on TikTok specifically, I don't know that if you do this so much on Instagram, I don't know, shame on me for not knowing, but I love your TikTok updates of like my outfit of the day. Yes. So tell us about what we can expect if we follow you, and anyone out there that wants to follow you, like what we can expect.
Okay, so I guess on TikTok, I love to film outfit of the days. I love just watching those from other people. I don't do them like constantly, but they're fun to do.
Like you do them the perfect amount. Yeah. Like nobody is like overwhelmed, and nobody is also like, actually, people like me probably are like, I want to get on every day just to see what you are. So maybe we are asking for more actually.
Okay, I'll try to be better. Some outfits are like not worthy to be on TikTok.
Stop. Okay, depends on who you ask. Some people think everything is worthy to be on TikTok.
That's true.
Even if it shouldn't. So
that's true. So I do outfit of the days on TikTok. I'm trying to do more like day in the life videos of a field editor, because like I said, it's a very niche role. And I just think those are so fun. I love day in the lives. So that's TikTok. Instagram, I don't know, just like share photos from like what's happening in life, whether it's like a landscape from our recent shoot or just hanging out with my friends or like with my dog. But so yeah, that's basically what you get when you follow me.
All the Boots content, the Boots the dog content on actually probably both, but specifically Instagram. And with his Instagram, what was his Instagram again?
Boots_Scoot and Boogie.
I should have added that to notes, because I have yours, which if you guys do want to go follow on Insta or TikTok, they're both the same, so that is always helpful. That's like a good branding tip if you guys are out there and you want to know. If you have the same handle on all the platforms, it makes everything easier. At Shelby Beth _427. And I have to ask, what does the 427 mean?
It's my birthday.
Okay. I was like, is it an area code in Ohio? I couldn't figure it out.
No, just my birthday.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Well, it's coming up. And by the time the podcast is out, I think it might be, depending on how long it might be past your birthday. So happy birthday.
Thank you.
Very soon. That's awesome. And then if you want to follow along with Shelby's work stuff, if you want to see where her stories are posted or what her video team is doing, you can follow along at Texas Farm Bureau. And there's like I love watching Shelby's content on TikTok and stuff. But before we go, I always ask one super serious, not really serious question on the podcast. And it's, what is your best piece of advice for someone that is in your industry? But I'm actually going to change it to be like a season or two behind you. So think like someone who's in college or just graduated, trying to find a job. What's your best advice?
So my best piece of advice for anyone who's like in college, not really sure what they want to do, or maybe they do know what they want to do. One, have faith. Two, apply to everything. Don't just expect it to fall into your lap that this opportunity is going to come up. I'm also really grateful that I was able to get my dream job out of school, but don't always like have that expectation. But don't be afraid to apply. There are lots of like really good resources out right now. Like people are sharing job opportunities all the time on TikTok and Instagram of like what's available. Of the West is always posting job stuff. But always apply to everything. Don't be afraid or like think that you're underqualified for it. Just apply because you never know what connections you're going to make out of it.
That's such a good answer. And we were actually just talking about that. I don't know if you remember, like when we were getting you checked in, about like mentally talking yourself out of things. Cause like I realistically was like, Shelby's going to say no. She's too busy this weekend. Like reaching out to her, I feel bad. And then she was like, yes, I'm honored. And I'm like, okay, see, like proof that you need to ask, because the worst thing they could say is no, you know?
Yes.
So Shelby, I'm honored that you said yes and that you want to be on the podcast. You're welcome back anytime. Waco's very close. So
Yes.
We'll have to plan better when you're not as crazy busy and make it worth it. I have to give, before we leave, a special shout out to your boss, Julie.
Yes.
If you've made it this far, thank you so much for letting Shelby take off work to be on the podcast and enjoy fully the weekend of 30 Under 30.
Say, I didn't have to twist her arm. She was excited for me.
I bet. It sounds like you have a pretty good boss and job. And I, as your friend and sister, I'm so happy for you. So excited to see where you end up in the future too.
Thank you.
And I'm thankful for social media that has kept us together.
Yes.
So guys, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for listening to episode number 1 of the Kick Your Boots Up podcast for season 3. So episode 66, I think. We're on 66 episodes. Wow. If you like what you saw, or even if you didn't, feel free to like and subscribe and get notified for posts on YouTube, or if you're like seeing the reel on Instagram, do that too. Get notified for whenever we post. Leave us a review on Apple. That's something I'm really targeting right now. If you will DM Justin Boots a screenshot that you gave us a review on Apple, I will send you a message and also enter you into a drawing to win a very cool prize package from the Kick Your Boots Up podcast. And as always, remember that you can save 15% on the Justin Boots website by going to www.justinboots.com and using code KYBU15 for 15% off. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you the next time you kick your boots up. Thanks for joining us on Kick Your Boots Up. I'm your host, Taylor McAdams, and we can't wait to share the next story of the West. Until then, feel free to like, subscribe, and leave us a review. Follow us on social media at Justin Boots to keep up with our next episode. And we'll see you the next time you kick your boots up.